So at this time, I'll call the meeting to order at 6:31. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next up is correspondence and public comments. As we are completely virtual now, I don't have a sign-in sheet, so it'll just be a matter of raising your hand. And we will also do the 3-minute time limit. So we'll open it up to public comments.
How do you raise your hand?
I'm calling you. No, Mom, there's like an.
Okay, Tammy is first. I don't see anyone else yet. So-
April Kilbury here, but I don't know how to raise my hand.
Okay, so we'll go Tammy Underwood, then April Kilbury.
Mhm.
Julie, just so you're aware, it appears that I don't have control to make people co-host to present and so forth for some reason. So if you could keep an eye on that.
Okay, so I've got 2 people so far. We'll get started with that. First up is Tammy Underwood.
Tammy,
Let's see what Tammy has to say.
Okay. First of all, I was a little thrown when I was putting my information together for the meeting tonight that I thought I was going to be at the municipal building for until I saw the posting from our cowardly governor about Act 78. So now he's made it even more impossible for us to voice our opinions. So kudos to him. I'm going to use most of my time to play 2 videos. One's approximately 40 seconds. The other one's approximately 50 seconds. So that'll take the last 2 minutes that you're going to allow me. But shame on all of you for not taking these masks off of our kids. I have no idea how you sleep at night. You're getting paid to do it. You're ruining their lives. And it's about time it stopped. So now I'll go to the videos.
Just in time.
Tammy, are you sharing that? Because I'm not seeing anything.
I had it pinned to the bottom. Robert helped me with this earlier. Is there something you need to do on your end so I can show it?
I mean, you should see a share screen green button in the Zoom meeting. Do you see that?
Okay, yeah,
And then when you go to share screen, you should be able to pick your desktop.
okay.
And don't forget to click the sound button.
It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Yeah, Julie, can you check that? Because for some reason I have no control on screen controls now.
She's working on it.
Okay. Or Laura, I don't know if you see it.
It says that you should be able to screen share. So let's see if, try it again. And Tammy, if I find your icon, maybe I can do something there.
Yeah, I'm still getting the same error message.
I apologize, but I don't seem to have any of the controls that I should at this moment.
It says one participant can share at a time. I'm gonna go into advanced settings.
Can you make her co-host? Do you have that option?
Okay, hold on.
Oh,
Can you do it now, Tammy?
I think something changed. Yep, let's try this.
Yes, it's working.
Okay, all right.
And then Tammy, yeah, there you go. I'm not sure if you clicked the sound share when you had that.
Can you hear it?
No,
No, you may need to stop sharing and then make sure you click the little box that says share sound as well.
Okay, I apologize for that. This is a work in progress here. Okay, share. Oh, now I'm disabled again. No, it's giving me that old error again.
And unfortunately, I don't have co-host or host control any longer.
Okay, I've changed it again.
Okay.
I don't know why it's doing, of
Okay.
all the
so-
times, Tammy, of all the times.
Okay, share computer sound.
Yep, there you go.
Okay. All right, let's try it one more time.
Some major flip-flopping people should not
I
be
can hear it.
Masks.
Okay.
Masks. Word. Fully vaccinated, you are protected, and you do not need to wear a mask. If you are vaccinated, you should still wear a mask.
You really better be very careful before you bring the children back. The default position should be to try as best as possible to keep the children in school.
Right now, at this moment, there is no need to change anything that you're doing on a day-by-day basis. I would like to see a dramatic diminution of the personal interaction that we see. So let me clarify that, because there was a little bit of a misunderstanding.
Dr. Fauci, he flips, he flops.
Okay, I know that took a couple minutes longer than it was supposed to. So I won't even play the second video. That was the main one that I wanted to play anyway. I know deep in my heart, you all know how ridiculous this is. What it boils down to is people are going to have to decide what's more important, our kids' health and well-being, or a few extra dollars that you're getting from the most evil people in the world that right now is making it very easy to balance a budget. Do it the old-fashioned way and do it the right way and not at the expense of our kids. This is shameful. And now that Act 78's come about, how do you expect people to actually have real input, especially when it comes time pretty soon? You're going to want us all to vote on a budget, but you're going to want to keep a muzzle on us? Really? You better think long and hard about this. Just because he enacted Act 78 doesn't mean that you have to abide by it. I've seen other recordings, other meetings, DRBs, town meetings. They're all sitting there with their masks on at a table. I don't understand why you folks can't afford us the same courtesy. It's ridiculous. You don't have to do it. You're choosing to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is April Kilbury.
Hi, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Well, first off, I do agree with Act 78 makes it very difficult for anybody to contribute. There's a lot of taxpayers out there that are not tech savvy, as we all know, and there's no need for this. As Tammy said, people meet all the time in meetings. They have their masks on. I have heard you guys talk about vacations you've gone on prior to the videos coming on, and people go out to dinner. I know you guys all go out to dinner, and it doesn't seem to be a problem then. So it shouldn't be a problem when you're having a public meeting. So with that being said, I do know some of you. I know some of you, I know your families, I know your values, your ethics, and I know that you'd be on the other side of the podium if you were just parents and not on the school board. And I know this because I was on the school board and I sadly only served one term because I felt like I couldn't voice my opinion. I had more of a say as a parent than I did as a school board member. I just had to stoically look at people and nod and look understanding and never respond. And part of a school board, part of their role is to listen and respond to citizens, to their inquiries, to their concerns. Part of their role is to discuss specific issues with the community, with parents, to be a liaison to the public, to direct them to resources that can resolve their issues. And none of that's happening. I've been watching some school board meetings all the way back to August with you guys, and nothing. You just stoically listen and there's no communication. You might as well be pet rocks sitting there because nothing's getting done. We need to open up a dialogue if we're going to solve any problems or come to some kind of compromise. I do believe in mask freedom to choose and freedom to choose vaccination. I don't believe in mandating it. To paraphrase Edmund Burke, evil triumphs with good men and women do nothing. And I'm sure you're all good men and women. Will you be able to live with your silence? Can you live with the failure of not answering the call of the community you serve? Will you look back one day knowing you could have made a difference and regret that you stood down? Why are people so afraid to be heroes today? That's what our nation really needs right now. Our world needs heroes. Please be a hero. I regret terribly that I kept my mouth shut while I was on the school board for one term. I really regret that. I feel like I failed the community I served because I didn't speak my mind. And I live with that all the time. And maybe if I had spoken up, maybe we wouldn't be here right now if I'd pushed back just a little harder. So with that, I want you guys to really think about your role. And I want you to contribute to absolutely voting your conscience. So you can lay your head down at night, so you can face your grandchildren and children someday and say, I tried, I really tried. Even if you don't get anywhere, at least try. And I think people need to be heard and there needs to be a dialogue. To watch people just blankly stare at people bringing up real issues and concerns, it's an embarrassment. And I don't know, I know you must turn off these Zoom meetings and put your heads in your hands and say, I'm not doing anything. I'm not really helping. So if you're not helping, then you're hurting. So I think you need to start helping and open up the dialogue with the people that are trying to stress some concerns here. With that being said, I yield back the remainder of my time to Tammy Underwood if she wants to play that second video and has time.
Time's actually up. Is there anyone else? Let's see. Jim raised his hand. Is there anyone else after Jim? Seeing none, we'll go with Jim.
Chris, I think Ty.
Ty. Yeah, we'll go with Jim and then Ty.
You all set?
Yep, go for it.
Okay, thank you. Most of you probably remember me. I've been to your meetings. I've been to meetings all over northern Vermont. I've been 4 or 5 months doing this stuff. I handed out these packets. Chances are you've had one or you chose not to look at it or whatever. Put together by myself and Amy Hornblast. Amy Hornblast did the mass survey last year. All kinds of documentation, all kinds of proof. I'm not going to go over it again. I'll ask you 2 questions. This is from a box of masks at Costco's. Here's the box. See what it says on the bottom in the warning? Not for personal protection. You just heard from the former head of the FDA saying the cloth masks are useless. So I want to know, why are you putting these masks on the kids? The cloth mask can't do anything for them. It's printed on the packaging of the paper masks, which you are requiring these people to wear, kids, not properly fitted. And now they're talking about an N95 mask. I've done body work, I've done auto work all my life. If an N95 mask is not properly fitted, it doesn't work. Not gonna work on any kid. Not gonna work on anybody with facial hair. They don't work. So I'm gonna ask you again, just like I did when I was up there, just like I did to hundreds of other people. Why do you continue to put the mask on the kids' faces when they don't do anything? You're all
Money.
smart people. You're all smart people. But more than importantly than smart, I'm not talking about educated. I'm talking about just having common sense. How many football games have you watched on TV where there's 100,000 people standing inches from each other, screaming their lungs out? No mask anywhere. And then you come to work on Monday morning and you put your mask on, or you require your kids. You know, that's child abuse. It's just time for a stop. You know, you guys got to listen to somebody. At what point do you say, you know what? It's time to stop. This isn't up to Scott or any mandate. It doesn't matter what they mandate. You all have the right to make the decisions for your kids in your school. Are they your nieces and nephews? Are they your children? Are they your grandchildren? You know, at what point do you say, screw it, we've had enough. It hasn't stopped anything. No vaccines, no boosters, no masks have stopped anything. Vermont says one record after another with COVID positivity. Okay? So we're going to get through it. Here's the other point. 99.98% of the kids will never have symptoms. So what are you doing it for? It's time to stop. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ty.
Thank you. Haven't been on for a few meetings. I've been trying to keep track. Surprised this is still going on, but I got some different topics to talk about. Seeing a story in the Messenger recently about the proposed budget. Scary number. Scary number, especially after it took 6 drafts to get to that number. I really wish I could have been more a part of knowing what that number looked like at the beginning. But I do have some questions. I'm going to give Laura a heads up on that. I will ask at the budget informational meeting. That 2.39 million is a big number, and if I had to vote on that, I think I know exactly how I'd vote. But I kind of want to know what that's going to look like for $100,000. What the increase is going to be for $100,000 value in each town. It may already be somewhere that I can see, but and the other point I have is on the Highgate bond, and I guess I got to inform myself some more. But where is there more information on the bond? On what we've spent the bond money on, because I see the story about some minutes about the next article, next thing that we're doing on for a project is the HVAC system, and we're $800,000 short on that. So I guess I can reach out personally to get more information on that.
Do you have any other questions, Ty?
I don't have any right now, no.
Okay. I would definitely recommend reaching out to Laura, and you can reach out to me for the Highgate bond info. Just a quick thing on the 2.3 million increase, the effect to taxes. I believe Swanton's is supposed to go down a very small percentage, and then Highgate and Franklin was a very small percentage increase. It was like 0.01, I believe. And the reason why is because we're able to offset these increases with revenues and carryover. But obviously, all this will be explained in the budget info meetings, and there's some videos going to be going out explaining all this as well.
Yeah, I did have one other question. Sorry, I didn't have my questions written down tonight. kind of shooting from the hip. But the second question is the other story about around the holidays. Support staff got a $2 hour raise across the board. My question is, how many support staff are there in the district, and what's that look like for an annual increase total? But that don't have to be answered tonight either.
Yeah, we'll have to get back to you on that one for the exact numbers.
Thank you.
Okay, I saw one other hand up.
Chris,
Go ahead.
it's Jim Sexton, but this is his wife, Shirley. I have a question for you. And it's not meant to sound rude, but to point out a point. So we have asked that you at least have conversation with us regarding this mass issue and everything. This gentleman gets on, he asks a question, you respond to him. You completely ignore us. Why is that?
I haven't completely ignored anyone. People have sent me emails. I've responded to everyone that sent me emails. I've had conversations with anybody that's asked to. And we've responded to any questions that have been asked at these meetings.
Have you seen what these vaccines and these masks are doing to our children?
I'm not going to debate the medical side of this because I'm not qualified to debate a medical issue. We follow the guidance provided for us and the route we go.
No matter if it harms our children.
Like I said, I'm not going to debate this now with you.
If the governor tells you to go step out in the middle of the road and stand there,
Okay,
are you gonna?
that concludes your part. Thank you. So at this time, that also concludes public comments because I don't see anybody else's hands up. So we'll move on to agenda review. I do have one review amendment. We have a contract matter that will need to be gone over in executive session. I don't have any others. Julie?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay. Next is a consent agenda for the meeting minutes of January 20th. I'd entertain a motion to accept those. Terry's the first, Don's the second. Any discussion?
I do know that we have to give details about after the executive session because that detail wasn't in there, like the time and who made a motion to end the meeting. So
I have all those notes. I can, let me see.
Sure. I just thought we had to mention that if we're gonna, for the minutes to approve it, that with those added notes, we're good. Thank you.
I don't have them, my notes in front of me. We'll have to table this until I can clarify these.
We can't approve them, give it, and just say, and with the addition of the notes that you have. It's very.
We had a couple of motions that we voted on, and to be honest with you, I don't remember what they were, and I didn't write them down, so I got to check my.
Okay.
I got another set of notes, but I don't have them in front of me.
Okay, then I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay, so.
We'll just wait till next meeting, yeah? Okay.
Yep. So that moves us on to administrative reports. And first up is MVU.
Hi. So we obviously just met a couple of weeks ago, so not a whole lot's been going on at MVU, but I wanted to make you guys aware of some stuff coming up and aware of some things that we have been doing. This Friday, we do have an in-service. It's a half day for students. And weather permitting, we will have the half-day professional development for staff as well. This year, at the beginning of the year, we've allowed faculty and staff to be able to select a professional development strand from a list of options. And this Friday, will actually be the third strand meeting for that. Some professional development's also been going on within the science department to continue their work with Liz Mira on best practices. Partners for Literacy and Learning and a Vermont-based literacy consultation organization will continue to support our middle school ELA teachers as they continue to implement their new curriculum. I want to make you guys aware of the Bridge to Middle School Lunch Bunch. Celine Rindo, who is our truancy person, myself, and the 2 middle school guidance counselors have been going to Swanton, Highgate, and Franklin elementary schools and meeting with some 6th graders as we begin to kind of bridge, serve as a bridge for those kids to come to MVU. We've been going up and having lunches with them. We have picked a different school each week and not meeting with everybody. Sometimes it's just a small group and sometimes it's a full classroom. We answer any questions that they may have. So it just kind of gives them maybe a familiar face when they do come to MVU. The science fair, as we mentioned just a couple weeks ago, was postponed. We will hold the science fair in Commons on February 10th, and judging will begin at 5 p.m. There's a link to the copy of the newsletter on there. History night this year. Unfortunately, we will not have the history night the whole evening, but history day will be just like last year, where Dave Zabo and Tom Sumner, the 2 8th grade history teachers, will have it during the day, and students and faculty have the opportunity to come on down in and view the projects, and students will be presenting to other students. We are looking at having some kind of perhaps recording of it and be able to post that. 6th grade registration night will occur. Typically, this is an event that we've had that is like a live event. We are looking at holding this virtually, just like we did last year. It'll be a meet and greet on March 8th at 6:30 p.m. I've got a letter getting ready to go out to all 6th grade parents and their students. And it'll be an event, work with Rob and Jen will help, hopefully. And we will send out a Zoom link, provide some question and answer, kind of give them an idea of what things will be like when they come to MVU, and have a video of all the current 7th grade teachers and what they can kind of expect when they come to MVU. This coming next week, we have the Vermont Youth Project Survey. We've been working, this will be the 3rd year that we have done this survey. Kind of gives a little bit of a snapshot into what students think about their community, school, and help provide some information just around that to inform about their thoughts on school and how safe they feel. And again, some parents have opted out, have their students opted out of that, and there is a link to that. We do encourage that anybody who wanted to do that, let us know. But that link was sent out on January 24th. But again, the survey will take place on February 10th. Just want to let everybody know that nationally renowned speaker Ed Garrity will be at MVU on February 17th to speak to MVU students. This will be the 2nd time, maybe 3rd time overall that Mr. Garrity's been there. I think he was here about 6 years ago. He was some of our student athletes heard him at the Athletic Leadership Conference last November, but he's coming to MVU to talk about culture, bullying prevention, and student and staff morale. And just want to let people know that parent-teacher conferences are going to occur in the evening of March 16th and 17th. Those will occur in the evening. They can be held either virtually or in person, and they'll be from 4 to 8 p.m. That evening. A link will be sent out later on for parents to be able to sign up for those. All right, and that's it from us.
Thank you. Any questions for MVU? Ty. Ty, do you have your hand up for?
There you go.
Yeah, I couldn't unmute, but now I can. Question for you, Dan, for the 8th grade students signing up for next year's classes. I know it happens online or in most of the time at school. How can parents be part of that process to kind of, that freshman year, some parents would like their students to explore something that they aren't, if they're a music kid, maybe explore ag just to see if, a lot of times that happens in 8th grade, but how can a parent be part of that process?
So counselors, our 2 middle school counselors will be going in and talking to 8th grade classrooms. I believe it's next week. It's when it should be occurring, and they'll help them. There's a bunch of classes obviously that they need to take, but then the form will be going home and parents will need to sign off on that. And if there's any, whatever classes they want to sign up for beyond that, we call those the electives. They can certainly sign up for those during that time.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And since back from holiday break, I know we all got, as parents, got the email about going back to hall passes. Have you seen some control happening and less chaos with that?
Yes, absolutely. I would say that, the general overall tenor of the building has been much more calm since we've come back from Christmas break. And, we've talked to other schools and other schools are feeling it as well. But we feel that the switching over to the orange passes, and just to make sure everybody's aware of it, we spoke with our faculty and all students, and now any single time that a student is out of a classroom, they're to have an orange pass signed by a teacher. And we've noticed that it's cut down on the amount of students that are just in the hallway. And it's easy to figure out if a student's not where they're supposed to be and to kind of escort them back where they're supposed to be. But yeah, I would say, Todd, that the overall tenor of the building has been much better since Christmas break.
I
Jen?
just wanted to add to your question about registration. We posted a slideshow on Facebook a few days ago about course registration, but I'll push that out through to 8th grade parent emails tomorrow so that you have access to that as well.
Thank you, Jen.
Okay, any other questions for MVU? Seeing none, we'll move on to, oops. Somebody
Can I
say
ask a
something.
question
Sure.
about parent-teacher conferences?
Yes.
Sorry,
Since you're still,
sorry, was it when parent-teacher conferences are, Tammy?
no, actually, I was just going to ask, since you're still allowing people to choose whether they want to do it virtually or go in person, why is it that you can't have a school board meeting that way?
That's not an
Food for
MVU decision. That, to be quite frank and honest with you, that was my decision. They passed down the rule that we didn't have to have a public space. Since most of us were doing it virtually anyway, we did it this way. It was only for the month of February. The decision to whether to stay this route or change will be revisited in March. So
Good
the month
job,
of
Elaine.
February, we already, excuse me, but the month of February, we already canceled this Swanton Municipal Building. So for the month of February, this is how our meetings are going to be.
You're alienating people. I hope you know that.
It's not our intention, and we can revisit this in March. Absolutely can be changed in March. Okay, so I believe that concludes MVU reports. We're going to move on to the superintendent newsletter.
Yes, so you, as Dan said, we just had a newsletter last meeting. So you have some updates from departments. My main piece was that I shared with you some legislative updates. I would recommend that board members subscribe to the VSBA legislative blog. I think the big issues that you're going to see coming out of the session involve the pupil weighting study, that they will need to do something now that they've created that report. Not really sure which way that will go. There's a bill regarding education funding. There are bills related to the special education rule change, whether to delay or not. I don't expect them to delay the implementation of that. There are some bills around tuition for towns that tuition. Educator workforce, trying to encourage educators to come into the field. There are a couple of bills. There's one bill that I think is particularly problematic for school boards, and that is H80, the Maida Townsend bill, that would allow teachers to break their contract in the middle of a contract year. I think that would be very difficult for schools to administer and for boards to hire and serve all the kids that we need to. But you will see the list there. I just gave you a few updates and thoughts, and it moves pretty darn quickly. So I think I just received a new education legislative update today. So if you subscribe to those, you should be seeing one in your emails today. And that's really all I have, unless there's questions from the board.
Julie, not a question, but a comment that school board members who may want to get some answers, that the legislature is on recess during town meeting week. I don't know if any of them will be around to meetings, because I'm not sure there are any meetings that person, but certainly they could be contacted via the email or Zoom or appointments. And I know some of them do set up special appointments with individuals or groups. So that's usually a good time to get the pulse of what's happened and what might happen.
Thank you, Don. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business. First up under new business is the EEI Highgate contract addendum.
Okay, Chris, I actually have Eric Lafayette on this meeting as well, but just to preface what he's going to present, we had tabled an addendum to this project or to this contract at the last meeting, but he has provided that addendum now, and it is in regards to measurement and verification. So I'm going to turn it over to him so he can explain briefly to the board what that entails.
Yeah, so this is an addendum. Hi, Eric Lafayette with EEI. This is an addendum that should have been with the original contract that did not get submitted when it got originally approved by the board. So we wanted to bring it back in front of you and get it included in there. But the measurement and verification addendum sets the baseline of how we go about and verify that we're hitting our energy performance goals on the project. So something that we're going to do on Highgate, and that we're also doing on Franklin as well, is we're getting baseline energy usage at both schools. And then we are going to compare the new systems once they've run for a year compared to what they were doing back in 2019, 2020, and see what energy savings that we get out of it. So what this addendum does is just pretty much to set the baseline for how we go about that measurement and verification process. And I thought it was important that we add it to the contract because it should have been in there originally.
So we're looking for the board to consider signing that contract and approving it, Chris.
So I'd entertain a motion to allow the board chair or vice chair to sign that addendum. Peter's the first. Don's the second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of allowing the board chair or vice chair to sign the addendum to the Highgate contract, raise your hand. Motion carries 9-0. Next up under new business is budget marketing information.
So we just wanted to make sure that we were really clear. We had our input session on the 12th of January. We had a survey that went out in November for the board to get input there. Again, the board adopted January 20th. We have started Laura has been working tirelessly with administrators, putting together the the annual report that went to the printers on Monday, I believe. So that should be out, Laura, when?
It's the 16th back to us, to the board on the 17th, and out to the public on the 18th, I believe.
Okay. And we will have that obviously available in print, but also at on our website electronically and on the school websites. And they will be, print copies will be dropped off at town halls in the 3 towns as well. We have started our videos where each one of our schools, the last year, we get a lot of really good feedback from our communities about a video about the budget and Franklin School, the budget and Highgate School, budget and Swanton, budget and MVU, shared services across the district. And then, of course, we have our informational meeting that goes through the entire budget. And there are pieces that we hit on each one of those videos to really try and explain the expenditure budget, the revenues, the spending per equalized pupil, and the tax rate, which in this instance is our equalized tax rate is going down. Although the CLA is challenging in Vermont this year. So we have all of those going out. And of course, on the 23rd, which is Wednesday, we will be having our town hall for the budget information hearing. It was nice to have Terry recorded some video for us. And Chris, I think you are going to join some folks at central office to do the district-wide presentation.
Yep, I am.
Great.
Absolutely. Any questions or comments about the budget marketing?
Chris,
Done.
public access TV program? Is that happening?
We're doing our own in-house version of it. Robert's gonna edit it instead of having public channel 5, was it 15?
Okay.
But
Maybe
Don,
I'll-
it is shared with channel, with public access, and they play them on public access.
Okay, thank you.
We also have an 4-page insert going into the messenger. And I see Kate is on here, so if she wants to make an appointment with me, I would be happy to give her my time and we could talk about this budget for the messenger as well.
Ty.
Ty, you should be able to unmute. No, hold on.
I am now, Julie. When will we see the draft ballot, when the report comes out too?
The draft ballots, actually, we announced it at the last meeting. It's in our meeting minutes.
Okay.
Which we didn't approve yet, but I read and we showed the draft ballot at the last meeting.
With who's running for each position?
Right.
Okay. Sounds
As
good.
all the positions, there's one running except for the Highgate position. No one's running.
Ty, I will add that the absentee ballots will be available at all the towns by the 9th at the latest, possibly before then.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a comment?
Absolutely.
I worked with some people in Highgate, and the unanimous decision was a guy named Ty Swinier should be a candidate.
I don't disagree with you, but I think Ty's pretty busy with the rec department.
If I'm on that side of the table, I can't ask these questions.
You wouldn't have to. You'd know the answer, see?
Okay, so we can move on to old business. First up under old business is check warrants.
Steve, would you like to do check warrants?
Laura, I am not prepared.
Need to read them, not a problem. So in your board packet, in the Google Drive, you had the check warrants for the month of January. The total amount is $3,320,616.84. That's made up of accounts payable of $1,078,758.28. Payroll checks for $34,808.01. Payroll other disbursements, $1,626,059.47. And payroll deductions, $580,991.08.
So at this time, I'd entertain a motion to accept check warrants as read. Devin's the first, Terry's the second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting check warrants as read, please raise your hand. Motion carries 9-0. Okay, next up under old business is negotiations update. A quick update part, the association negotiating group and us have come to an agreement. The terms of those agreements, we would probably want to go into executive session for due to they haven't ratified yet. They haven't gone back to their association to vote on it. So it's still an open bargain or open negotiation, I should say. But as of right now, we have come to an agreement. And so there's we're working towards that. So next up after that would be other business, and board goals is first up.
We have nothing to report right now, other than the fact that we will be having a meeting on Wednesday, February 9th, to work on some things, in terms of student outcomes, in terms of looking at more procedures that we want to look at too. So policies, sorry, not procedures. Okay. I don't know if anyone wants to add anything from the group. We're looking forward to hearing Kosha at that meeting. Good.
Okay, any questions for board goals? Seeing none, next up would be the facility committee. An update from that. We actually met last Monday, I believe. We had a lot of discussion about prioritizing all the needs within all of our buildings. The list is great. So we're trying to figure out a way to prioritize and also go through some of the immediate needs, and we discussed the Highgate bond a little bit moving forward. I believe everything's ordered. So that's on track. It's, very early on. They've just ordered everything. Things are due in when we need them to be. So that looks good. Anybody else from the facility committee, feel free to weigh in.
Chris, I would like to share, and if I'm wrong, what I say is wrong, tell me, but I think we had an excellent discussion. There are a lot of projects we're trying to prioritize, but I think philosophically, we agreed that school safety and security were some of our kind of overarching philosophy or reasoning for projects when we select them. We heard some really good reports from some of our maintenance staff about some issues that they thought should be addressed as far as security. We didn't talk about unsafe situations, but we did talk about making sure our schools are as safe as it could be. So I just wanted, if that is the way everybody understood, I just want to make sure the entire board knew that was a kind of a summary statement.
Right. I agree with you, Don. Peter, do you want to weigh in or are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I was just gonna send Julie a note. I can't share my video. It says the host won't let it. I had to re-log in because I lost my other connection.
I think Robert now has the power to do that. We've had some weird glitches this evening and I apologize to everyone for that.
Try that, Pete.
Hey, look at that.
Now we can see you.
All right. Yeah, I'm good, Chris.
Okay. So that moves us on to future agenda items, which we have a truancy presentation coming, another presentation on proficiency, post-secondary outcomes presentation, and we're still working towards that SRO presentation.
Yes, I have reached out to the new chief, but I know he's very busy, so I will be doing that again.
Ty.
Oh, I spoke about this at our select board in Highgate, but one thing I'm really, especially when they're in session, that I'm real supporter of is holding our legislators accountable while they're in session. I think it would be a good benefit to invite them to give a report. I know there's a pile of them between the two districts, or the one district, but two legislative districts. And, just hold, the select boards can hold them, the school boards can hold them accountable too, Don kind of talked about it when they go to break during town meeting, but I don't see a reason why they can't come and give a 5-minute update every month.
Thank you, Ty. Any other suggestions for future agenda items? Peter.
Just all the discussion tonight about in-person meetings and stuff. Just wondering, because I would like to see a good turnout for our informational meeting. I believe Julie said is on the 23rd. I don't know if we can give any, we don't have to decide tonight, but any thought to a way we could make that meeting so that people that aren't tech savvy or not used to getting on to Zoom meetings, if there's any way we could do something in person.
Okay, we'll have to discuss that one.
Chris, I have another suggestion for a future meeting.
Go ahead, Don.
It's been a while since we've heard much about the ag program. Probably don't need to know about it in the next couple of months, but before we get too far into spring, we used to have Mr. Anderson, who was working with Jen, and I think working maybe with Jim this year, come by our meetings, but since we're not in person, we haven't seen him for months or a year. But at some point, I'd like to get another update on the ag program, where it's at, where we see it going. And I think Julie mentioned last meeting, maybe she was having contact with one of the agency of education field people, whatever they call them.
Thank you, Don.
Okay, any others? Hearing and seeing none, that goes to our future board meeting. Our next one is February 17th, which will be at 6:30, be virtual. And our info meeting is scheduled for February 23rd, I believe at 7. Yeah, it's at 7. As of right now, it's virtual. Public space to be determined.
Chris, this is Toby. Can you how did we do the informational last year? Was it
virtual?
I wasn't on last year. Was it? No, I wasn't on last year. I don't remember how it went though.
It was full virtual.
It was for virtual. Okay.
Yep. We had, I don't remember exactly how many people. We had a pretty decent turnout actually virtually. Okay, so at this time, we entertain a motion to go into executive sessions for a contract matter, and we would invite in Julie.
Could we also invite in Bonnie and Laura if we're going to be discussing negotiations outcomes since they were there? I don't know if you have questions for them. You don't have to.
Right. That's right, because it's also negotiations details. I forgot about that, sorry. So for the negotiations detail, we'd invite in Julie, Bonnie and Laura, and then for the contract matter, it'd be just Julie.
Chris and Julie, if it's appropriate and we have time, I would like to take and discuss a legal matter regarding our meetings. And it's if prior knowledge, I think could jeopardize the request that I'm going to make.
Okay, so first we're going to do negotiations. Second would be a contract matter. And then third is a legal matter.
A legal issue regarding meetings.
Issue. Okay, I'll take a motion for those. Terry's a first, Don's a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of going into executive session for negotiations, details, contract matter, and a legal issue regarding meetings, raise your hand. Motion carries 9-0. We are in executive session as of 7:30.